Hello and welcome everyone to the Week 8 ONIT Recap Show. What a week it was, as almost half of the top 10 lost. Some SEC teams needed overtime to escape with victories on the road, and big returns to and on the field made differences in some matchups. We'll take a look at all of that and much more on this week's edition. So, how about we take a look at what's in the box?
What's in the box?
Our Week 8 ONIT box features our locally sourced and nationally driven headlines as we look at performance reviews for all of our ONIT teams. We also have our Making the Grade, where we highlight our 5 elite performers from this weekend, and we will have a look ahead to Week 9. All that's coming up, so let's take a look at Tennessee at Alabama. This was our ONIT game of the week, and boy, it did not disappoint. Alabama winning it 37-20 over Tennessee. The momentum really changed in this one at the end of the first half. Zabian Brown with the 99-yard interception return to completely flip the script. Tennessee was driving, looked like they were going to score, close the gap on Alabama. Instead, Brown, with no time on the clock, extended the gap for the Crimson Tide as they earn their 4th straight top 20 victory. Insane stuff from Alabama. Ty Simpson once again looked like a Heisman contender. Ryan Williams looked like he was back from his injuries that have nagged him most of the season. And Alabama cruised in this one. Joey Aguilar really struggled to move the ball offensively for the Vols, who had an opportunity in the third quarter, but they just couldn't close the gap. Deshaun Bishop played well for Tennessee, but not enough to get it done. Washington came into this game with a lot of questions. The first was, can they get a quality win on the road in the Big Ten? The next was, do they deserve to be ranked? And lastly, they wanted to know, can Damon Williams Jr. continue to stack amazing performances like he had last week against Rutgers? Well, the answer to all three of those questions was a pretty resounding no, as the Huskies went into the Big House and the Wolverines won this game 24-7. Washington just could not overcome the 3 Damon Williams interceptions, as the Huskies in this game did not score in the second half, scored their lone touchdown in the second quarter, and Michigan was able to run all over them. Bryce Underwood also had himself a very nice day. He completed 21 of 27 passes in this game, and he also matched a season high with 2 touchdowns as the Wolverines got back on track exactly like they needed to do in this contest, and they are going to take that momentum into another rivalry matchup coming up against Michigan State. Next up, we have Oklahoma at South Carolina, the 14th ranked Sooners going into Columbia to try to take down the Gamecocks, and they managed to do it. John Mateer didn't have his best day. He was trying to bounce back from the 3 interception game against Texas, and he managed to do that. But he was held to a season-low 150 yards. It didn't matter, though, because the Oklahoma defense was relentless, getting after Lenoris Sellers with 6 sacks, and Sellers was under constant duress in this game. There was always pressure coming from the Oklahoma defensive line. Again, Mateer not having to do too much, threw a touchdown, 150 yards, did lead scoring drives of 75 and 92 yards in this contest. But all in all, it was the defense for Oklahoma that really held them down. These were a quarterback matchup that everybody was looking forward to at the start of the season, and we can confidently say for the moment that Mateer has the better surrounding cast. Sellers did everything he could, but right now these teams are on 2 completely different trajectories. And one of our best matchups here for last, number 4, Texas A&M versus Arkansas. Boy, this game was crazy. Talk about a QB duel for the ages. 45-42, Texas A&M takes down Arkansas behind Marcellus Reed, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, a rushing touchdown, and 55 more yards on the ground for Marcel Reed, but he was maybe outdueled by Taylon Green, who had 256 yards through the air, 3 passing touchdowns, 89 yards on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. He accounted for all 5 of Arkansas's touchdowns, But in the end, the Texas A&M defense got more stops. Aggies able to remain undefeated at 7-0. They faced a little bit of a scare, but they got it done in this game. Boy, did they look good on offense. Marcel Reed has this team firing on all cylinders as he accounted for 4 total touchdowns. But Taylor Green on the other side is looking like a true superstar for Arkansas. If they can start to get some defensive stops, this is an Arkansas team that maybe can turn their season around and play spoiler down the stretch here. Here's a look at the rest of our ONIT Top 25 team results. Number 1, Ohio State continued to roll 34-0 on the road in Madison over Wisconsin. Was almost too easy for them. Number 10, LSU lost a heartbreaker in Nashville. They just couldn't score enough touchdowns. Nussmeier had 225 yards and 2 TDs, but it was a 31-24 loss to the Commodores for the Tigers as they had to settle for 4 field goals. Missouri managed to go on the road and win against Auburn 23-17 in overtime, had a chance to win it in regulation, but settled for the overtime victory. USC could not stop turning the ball over against Notre Dame in their 34-24 loss that may have effectively eliminated the Trojans from the college football playoff. And Texas, boy, they had a rough go of it in Kentucky. 16-13 in overtime thanks to a goal line stand for the Longhorns. And Nebraska on Friday night could not muster much offense in a 24-6 loss at Minnesota. In our unranked ONIT team results, Florida managed to snatch a victory at the very last second, taking down Mississippi State 23-21 by picking off the Bulldogs while they were in field goal range. Boise State rolled in the second half over UNLV thanks to Dylan Riley's 201 rushing yards, or Ashton Genty Light, as some are calling him there in Boise. And with our big performance of the day, Arizona State upset number 7 Texas Tech at home in Tempe. We'll talk more about the Sun Devils in Making the Grade. Welcome to Making the Grade, everybody. This is where we take a look at our biggest and best performers from the weekend. So let's get right into it with our near mint 8 performers. We've got 2 of them today. Caleb Downs from Ohio State is going to start us off. He had 6 tackles. All of them were solo tackles in the Buckeyes' 34-0 shutout victory over Wisconsin in Madison. He anchored that Buckeyes defense that's averaging less than 6 points per game on average right now. So he deserves a spot on this list, earns a near mint 8 grade, while Taylor Green accounted for all of Arkansas's touchdowns. We talked about how he was a dual threat to the max in that contest. He earns himself a mint 8 grade as well. Next up for our mint 9 performers, let's take a look at Alabama's Zabian Brown, because boy, did he have a very impactful play at the end of the first half. 0s on the clock, a 99-yard interception return for Zabian Brown got the Crimson Tide the separation that they were looking for with Tennessee, helped them extend their lead, and overall helped them win 37-20 at home in Tuscaloosa, while Carnell Tate, looking pretty on his city limits card, ended the first quarter for the Buckeyes with 4 catches, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns before finishing the game with 6 catches for 111 yards and those 2 scores. Tate and Brown both earning mint 9 grades for their very solid performance this weekend, but there can only be one 10 grade given out, and that grade is going to Mr. Sam Levitt, his beautiful shimmer auto right here, as he performed miracles for the Sun Devils in Tempe. Fresh off a huge loss, he returned from his injury, posted over 300 yards passing in this game, went down 22-19 with 2 minutes left on the clock. Levitt, calm, collected, didn't bother him. He led the game-winning touchdown drive. He went 5 for 7, passing for 61 yards on that drive to help secure the upset for the Sun Devils, 26-22 over the number 7 Texas Tech Red Raiders. And for that performance and the huge win at home that involved Arizona State tearing down those goalposts, Sam Levitt is our Gem Mint 10 Performer of the Week. Here's a look ahead at Week 9, some of the matchups that we are going to be keeping our eyes on here at ONIT. Starting off with Oklahoma hosting Ole Miss. The Rebels coming off that loss to Georgia, while Oklahoma still trying to get their offensive footing back underneath them. That will be a clash in Norman. You got Missouri at Vanderbilt. Both teams coming off very important wins in the scale of their season. Missouri looking to keep the momentum rolling after taking down Auburn. We have a matchup between two ONIT squads. Again, this should be a top 20 matchup at minimum, with Texas A&M, who should be top 3 in the country, going into LSU to face the Tigers. The Tigers are reeling. Can the Aggies continue their undefeated season? That'll be a great game to watch in the nightcap as Iowa State tries to upset BYU. The Cougars coming off that big win in the Holy War. Now they have to go to Ames. Can the Cyclones make some magic happen at home? Texas trying to figure out their offensive struggles. They'll get Mississippi State, who just fell to another ONIT squad earlier this weekend. Tennessee will go to Kentucky. That was the team that gave Texas trouble. Will the Volunteers find trouble in Kentucky, or can Tennessee pull it out in another late window game down there in Kentucky? Alabama at South Carolina is another matchup between ONIT squads. Alabama is rolling 4 top 20 wins in a row with no off week. Now they will go to Columbia, take on Lenoris Sellers and this Gamecock squad. Can South Carolina find their offensive answers, or will Alabama keep it moving? Illinois goes to Washington. The Huskies looking to bounce back after that loss at the hands of Michigan. Can Washington do so? While Michigan is going to take on Michigan State. It's a classic Wolverine-Spartan rivalry matchup there in Michigan. And can Oklahoma State potentially do what Arizona State just did and upset Texas Tech? The Cowboys are looking for something to turn their season around. Could this be the game where they do so? Those are the games we'll be watching here at ONIT. Let us know what Week 9 matchup you're looking most forward to, and tell us who you thought were the Week 8 players of the week as well in the comments. That's all we have for today's show, but before we go, I want to let you know how you can get involved in next week's episode. Here at ONIT, we're about connecting fans and athletes through team-based collectibles. So what better way to do that than let you showcase your polls? You can go to the link in the description or type into your browser what is down below and share your best hits, whether it be from the live streams, from your boxes, from your packs. We want to hear from you, so show off your best cards that you pulled, and maybe you'll get featured in next week's episode. Thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate you all tuning in, and we will see you next week for the Week 9 preview show right here on ONIT.